Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, my fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, and of course, most especially Victoria. It was my pleasure, as always, to evaluate your speech. Tonight, Victoria was speaking from a legacy or the prior Toastmasters education program from the Professional Speakers Manual, delivering a keynote address. Tonight, Victoria asked me to take a look and consider her PowerPoint presentation, including her font size. She also mentioned to me that her audience, she'll be delivering the speech for work, and her audience is one that does not have a prior knowledge or prior information. So with that in mind, I'd like to talk about things that I thought Victoria did really well, some things that she might consider to improve upon, and things that she could take on, and things that, I'm sorry, let me back up. Things that she excelled at, things that she might consider to work on to improve, and things that I really liked. So first and foremost, I'd like to start with things that I thought Victoria excelled with. First and foremost, I really loved the structure of your speech. You gave us the topic, you gave us the 3 points you were going to make, and you followed that structure. And then you did one of my favorite Toastmasters techniques, which is you looped back around. So you started with this definition from Merriam-Webster, and then you talked about a synonym as an example of the complexity of human language, and then you came back to that concept of a synonym at the very end. So I love that wraparound. Your structure was very clear. One thing that I think that you could have done to improve the speech, I'm sorry, let me pause there. I thought the font size was good. I had no problem with the amount of text on your slide or the font size. It was all very easy to read here in the Zoom meeting. One thing that I'd suggest for improvement is to take a couple of those pictures and make them their own slide. I think that New Yorker cartoon could have stood on its own, and you should have given that its airtime to kind of give it its own punch. I think one thing that you did really well was that you gave us a lot of supporting evidence and that you kind of answered my questions as they came up. So you gave us this structure, and right out of the gate, I'm thinking, well, when she says human language, does she mean written language? Does she mean verbal language? And you then answered that question subsequently. So you anticipated my needs as an audience member, and I thought you also did that very well with lots of supporting evidence. So as an example, you talked about human language is complex, but then you said, human language is more than speech, it's more than words, and it's more than emotion, defining that complexity. I also love that you personalized that, that natural language processing. I had heard that before. I had maybe heard that phrase before, but I didn't really put it to use or understood how it influenced my life. And then you gave me all of these great examples on how NLP is used with Google Translate, which I use actually quite a bit, with things like Siri and Alexa. So I love that you personalized it. You didn't just describe it, but you also then gave us examples on how we use this technology in our daily life. So thank you, Victoria, for not only a well-structured speech, but a speech that gave us a lot of information and filled in some of my blanks, and I'm sure filled in the blanks of other people in the meeting, and then also addressing all of the questions and making it personal. I look forward to hearing your speeches in the future. As always, I find them tremendously informative and very interesting. Thank you so much, Victoria. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Christine.